Welcome to the Taylor Method for Pain-Free Living, a podcast that features enlightening conversations with experts in the medical field that helps to improve the health and well-being of those suffering from chronic pain due to injury. Learn from leading authorities the questions you should be asking to experience pain-free living. Hosted by father and son, Dr. Derek Taylor and Dr. Hudson Taylor, and joined by industry professionals in the health field, including doctors of integrative medicine and personal injury attorneys. Enjoy well-rounded and informative conversations to help you get out of pain while achieving optimal wellness. Dr. Derek Taylor and Dr. Hudson Taylor are the doctors of Taylor Chiropractic and Laser Center in Florida and California. Both father and son duo have earned respect and a solid reputation for successfully helping people transform their lives by assisting them to discover the hidden causes of their painful health challenges, leading them to experience the resolution of their problems using the Taylor Method. Tune in each week to learn about the Taylor Method, Dr. Taylor's proprietary technology that looks at the whole person and identifies the root cause of pain while facilitating natural healing and helps to restore the body to optimal wellness without using drug injections or surgery.
Hi, welcome to the Taylor Method for a Pain-Free Living podcast. This is Dr. Derek Taylor. I'm with my guest here, Brenda Swanson, who is a certified sculpt yoga instructor. Been doing it for the past 20 years. Brenda, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Great to have you on the show. So, Brenda, you and I touched base in regards to doing this show because you have a unique method of helping women prevent osteoporosis, and that is through sculpt yoga. Can you tell us a little bit about that? First of all, let's just start about how you got involved in doing this. Let's get to know you a little bit first.
Okay. Well, I started doing yoga like 30 years ago. I was a gymnast as a kid, and yoga sort of kind of went right into matching my lifestyle, and being able to work as a model and do yoga was perfect for me, as opposed to trying to keep doing gymnastics and what have you. But I started the sculpt. I first was just doing regular yoga of all different types, aerial, acro, Ashtanga, every kind you can imagine. And then, of course, power yoga with heat. And then I was turned on to one day this sculpt yoga class that was also with heat. And I thought, oh, let me just go try it. It was loud rock and roll music. It was, weights. It was everything opposite of what you think of, you're going to yoga and meditation. And even though it's still mind, body, spirit, or beauty, body, and balance, as I like to call it, the sculpt yoga is just a little more powerful. And when we get a little more grown up, like when we're in our 40s and we start to lose a lot of our bone density, especially as women, using weights is something really important for our bones and for avoiding osteoporosis as much as you can, or, staying away from it before you get it. And sculpting yoga is a really great way to do that because you do strengthen the bones, the joints, and the muscles using the weights and the resistance. With regular yoga, you still can do that because you're holding these super powerful poses like Warrior Two or Warrior Two, or bridge pose, or Trikonasana, which is a triangle pose. These certain poses, when you lift up on the toes, you actually engage your shins and your calves, and then you lift up on your knees automatically when you lift up on your toes. So it automatically engages your legs more, which in regular yoga, a lot of times people don't remember or remind you or cue to lift up your toes. So you're actually having your toes lifted up, and you've got weights in your hands that are at least 5 to 8 pounds. You don't want to use 2 and 3 pounds forever because you don't do anything but get fluffy. You don't build a nice long lean muscle, and you're not strengthening your bones any. It's just like you might as well be holding 2 soup cans. And if that's all you have and it's your first time doing it, great. But you want to move up to a higher weight so that you're really strengthening those muscles and the bones, because as we get more grown up and you get from 40, 45 into your 60s, when you don't work out as much, or you don't take care of your body as much, and you start to eat worse, or you don't work out as much as you used to, your muscles go away like that. And the fat just grows. So it's really important that you don't live just a sedentary life and you're not moving. The most important thing you can do is move. Osteoporosis, I would recommend yoga for sure, but I would definitely recommend sculpt yoga even more, especially if you have symptoms of getting osteoporosis, or you have weak bones, and then you're more susceptible to fractures and all that other stuff. And when your bones start to get porous like a sponge, then you might as well forget about it, because that's when you're going to crack and break, and it's just not happening.
Yeah. Interesting. So you have clients all over the world that you work with. You work through Zoom and whatnot. And so can you tell us maybe do you have any clients that have come to seek your care because of osteoporosis?
Yes, I had a couple of clients come to me seeking osteoporosis care, and also some body care, because I also do like body work after my yoga classes, especially private classes and places that I can do that. Even in group classes, I can do some body work on a few people in the class. But so
what do you mean by body work?
I mean body work. I mean healing, like some healing where people are having bad times in their body, where things are not well. I move the body around, like how I see them in yoga.
Oh, so they come to your studio there and you work on them there?
Yes, I work on them.
Okay.
Do a yoga class, and then I'll work on them afterward, of like how you do your chiropractic work, and you do the muscle testing, and you do what you do, and you can see and feel exactly where people are. I can do that more through just where I feel inflammation, and can move the body after yoga class to just pull it out a little bit.
Yeah, and then do you advise, like, you give them certain exercises that they can do then?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. And each exercise, when you're doing, because I teach sculpt yoga, not just for people with osteoporosis, I teach sculpt yoga to everybody, I mean, everybody that comes to my class, it's usually a sculpting class. I do all the other modalities as well, but I basically teach the sculpting because I believe in that the most for my body. And I know that I've been working out my whole life, and I've watched how my body has changed through the years, and I can see now that if I'm not lifting a good amount of weight, just regular yoga doesn't do it for me. I won't keep muscle. I won't be strengthening my bones as much as I'd like to, and as much as I've been doing my whole life. So you have to keep moving. You have to keep going.
Right. So one of the myths that I think that's out there is that people that are, females that are thin, on the thinner side, they're going to automatically have osteoporosis, but that's not the case. You can be on the thin side, but if you're working out and using weights in that workout, you can prevent osteoporosis. You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Well, to ask me a question, what would you like to know?
Well, what are some of the exercises in particular that you find really beneficial that you're seeing with most of your clients there? Can you talk a little bit about that? Some of the exercises that are keep them the thin female patients, that some of the common exercises you'd like to see them do to prevent osteoporosis?
Definitely. All the yoga poses that they'll do, or that you should do if you are a woman or a man that's being threatened by osteoporosis or having a challenge with your bones to begin with. Each pose that you're going to hold, with or without weights, you're going to try to hold for at least 30 seconds. If you can, you're going to hold it for a minute, and you're going to work up to holding it for that minute, because that's how you're strengthening the bones, especially if you're not using weights. So one of the poses that you would do, that's a great pose for osteoporosis. I don't know if you can see me all the way, but it would be Warrior 2, where your right knee is over your right ankle. You lift up on your toes, so it lifts up on all of your calves and your shins, and then you lift up here, and it brings your whole body up, and you look over your right hand, and both of your arms should be, if you were looking in a mirror, you couldn't see your back arm behind you. And the more you hold this pose and squeeze your bum together, pull in up off your bandhas, and keep your legs in this position, 30 seconds to a minute is a big time. And then Trikonasana is another one, which is very similar to Warrior 2, except you're taking your front leg straight, hinging forward, just hinging at the hips here, and dropping your arm down. Again, you want to lift up on those toes so that you're engaging everything. Press your hand into the side of your leg and push up and press up toward the ceiling as you're pulling down. And if we had weights here, we'd be going like this. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale, inhale. And if we were in Warrior Two, we'd be using them like this. And you still keep lifted up on your toes, and you move nice and slowly, squeezing everything so that you are strengthening not just the muscle, but the bones and the joints, because all this is all joint work, your elbows. So also tree pose, standing in tree pose, with whether your foot is up to here or whether your foot is up to here. Oops, whether your foot's up to here, standing in tree pose for 30 seconds to a minute. My leg won't stay up here because my pants are slipping off. Even that pose is very strengthening for osteoporosis. Back bends, bridge poses, whether you're lying on the floor and lifting up your bum or whether you're doing a full bridge pose. If you are doing a pose, even if you're lying on your back on the floor, but you've got your big toes gripped and you lay back, you flex your feet, so your toes would be off the floor again, but your feet are really flexed. So your arms are strengthening, your calves, your shins, your whole entire body. Then you lay back and you just be laying on the mat with your legs up and out to the sides. So you're also stretching the insides and lengthening the muscles on your inner thigh. So it's all the beauty of yoga is that it is all one. Yoga means to yoke. It means to make all as one. And we all are as one in the universe. And when you do yoga, it's kind of like a push me, pull you, like you're pushing one arm one way and pulling the other arm the other way. You're pressing your hips underneath. And everything about it is so, the asanas, which means poses, are so particularly done. And if you're doing them correctly, there's no way that you cannot not help yourself with osteoporosis in almost any move that you do. But the 5 or 6 or 12 that, that I would say are the best are the ones that I was just mentioning. And there's some others, there's a few others that I probably haven't mentioned, but I would say that if you are not skinny and you are heavy and you live a sedentary life, you need to get up and make sure that your bones are good too, because a lot of people today don't eat good food. They're not eating calcium enriched foods, and people are filling up on empty calories and all that other kind of junk that's just full of preservatives, and that does nothing for our body. At the end of the day, it's not doing anything for your bones, and it doesn't matter whether you're skinny or fat or thick or thin. You can have really weak bones because you're not getting all the nutrients that you need just because you're heavier, and then you think you're drinking more milk or doing whatever is supposed to be calcium rich, which I don't think milk is the way to go anyway. But
right, yeah. So the weights that you use, are they like are they elastic bands? Or are they actual weights?
You can use elastic bands, you can use weights, I use 8 pounds on my arms. So I'll use 8-pound weights on my arms for everything that I do for arms. And then on my legs, I'll either put the 8 pounds on each leg. So you want to keep it in the middle of your thigh and stay really low. So you're really squeezing your butt and heading straight up like your back was against a wall, but you're strengthening these muscles and your femur bones, which the femur, we really need to keep strong. And it's the worst one you can ever break, right? And then I use like a 15 or a 20-pound weight when I'm doing stuff on my legs, when I'm doing more things on my legs, like lunges and things. And this is another thing. When you stay in your lunge, you want to stay in your lunge for a minute. You want to hold it, squeeze the bum under, suck the tummy in, and then exhale up. Inhale on the way down, exhale to the side for your Warrior Two. So every time you go up in sculpt yoga, you exhale, as opposed to you're usually inhaling going up in regular yoga. So it's because you're lifting and you need to exhale on the way up, suck your tummy in so you can build a 6-pack at the same time. You're strengthening your muscles, your bones, and everything else. So it's, for me, rock and roll music or no rock and roll music, because when I teach it, it's not in a hot room. It's usually on Zoom, and the room is only in studios is the room hot. And it's usually in people's homes, in my home, from here to London, from here to Italy, from wherever my client is. Then it's not so hot, and it's not it's not a hard thing to get to. You got the weights in your house, you got everything at home, you don't have to leave. You make your time that you set your time at, and there you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Got a class at noon here at 6 p.m. in Italy.
Right.
So it's perfect timing for people just coming home from work. And
yeah. Now, are people sore after they do a sculpt yoga class?
yeah, pretty much.
That's a good sign that they really put some stress on those bones, right?
Well, I watch people. It's sculpt yoga is transformational. Like I'm 60. I have been like in pretty good shape my whole life. I've been 20 pounds heavier, and I've been 10 pounds lighter. 20 pounds heavier, I look just like a normal person, but you don't see as much definition in your muscles. And that was about 20 years ago when I was 20 years younger as well. So like I said, the more you grow up or you get a little bit more older, I like to say grow up, your muscles don't stay as strong and as long as they did when you were younger.
Yeah. Now, how often do you recommend somebody doing the sculpt yoga exercises?
I came home from Italy 2 weeks ago Friday, and all I've done is regular yoga, hot yoga at the studio. 2 days ago, I'm looking through videos that I shot, half-an-hour videos, 30 days for 30 minutes, which I did during COVID for the month of April, so people didn't sit on the couch and eat bonbons and watch the news and get depressed and, end up 20 pounds heavier, which is what most people did anyway. But I gave 30 days, 30 minutes away for free. So I came back and just started doing this hot yoga again. And my body got in the best shape. Like I got in really great shape for those 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 days. So I've been going to my regular hot yoga for the last, 2 weeks and 2 days, whatever, it's Monday, right? I've been every day. And 2 days ago, I started doing the sculpt on my own video, watching my own video for the 30 days to see if I could use it for YouTube. And I did 2 of my own classes for 30 minutes. And it's been the first time I picked up a weight since being in Italy, which is like 2 weeks and 2 days or whatever I said, 16, 17 days, whatever. I was so sore on my own class, doing my own thing because I hadn't done it in 17, 18 days, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I was so sore from lifting these. And I did it again this morning before I went to my hot yoga, because I know that I have to, the hot yoga is not going to do it for me. I have to use these to keep it going. And if I'm going to get sore after I haven't done it for 17 days, and I'm used to teaching it all the time, I've taken off the month of December. I'm not teaching this month. I'm enjoying family and have people coming from California. And I'm not, I'm just not teaching for the month of December.
Use it or lose it, isn't it?
Using the weights and doing the sculpt, and man, I'll tell you, I could tell the hugest difference.
Right. You got to stay on it. You got to stay with it.
And we all do. We all really need to stay on it. And I really suggest to all of you ladies and gentlemen out there, if you are having a problem with your back, with your bones, with anything, come to me for sculpt. Go to him for every other pain and ache you have. Because Dr. Taylor is really, really, really great at what he does. And I'm glad to be a patient of yours, and I'm glad that I can help out in whatever way I can with helping people with their bones and their health. And
yeah, now you were sharing, talking about the importance of using the full motion and length for the exercises. Can you talk a little bit about that? Last time we were together, like when you do a crunch, you see people doing it wrong in the gym.
Oh, yeah. I was explaining that to you. Well, the problem, you know what, the thing is with crunches, and without doing a demo, the thing is with crunches is people can go to a private trainer and have a session 3 times a week and never get a 6-pack. Because when people teach people how to do crunches, they lay down on the floor and they let their back come down to the floor, and then they lift up and then they come all the way back down. So you're coming out of your muscle range here. If you're on the ground and you're doing your crunches, I'm just going to give you an example as best I can because this chair goes back. You want to keep your shoulders off the ground. So you want to exhale up, inhale, and exhale, inhale. You're always going to exhale on the way up, so you're going to suck your tummy in. When you come all the way down like this, your tummy just goes loose again. And you're not in, you're not in your tummy, you're loosening it all up again, and you come down, and then you come back up. It's all about staying right in the muscle, right here, just below the belly button. So you can build a six-pack, and you're not just building a bunch of fluff on top of fluff, because you're not really exhaling at the right time. You're not sucking your belly in at the right time. You're exhaling on your way down, inhaling on the way up, pushing your belly out. And people just don't explain that. Now, I know for me, I went to a gym and had somebody, because I'd never done weights before, and I wanted to learn how to do the machines. And not only did I never really even build any muscle from the machines, just the muscle that I already had, and it wasn't getting more defined, it was just getting fluffier, because they had me using 3 to 4 pound weights. And that during that day was the time that's all you did, was you did a bunch of repetitions with 3 or 4 pound weights. You need to do 3 or 4 repetitions with 8 pounds on one arm, not a little.
Yeah, it's got to stress the muscle enough in order to activate the bone.
Got to stress the muscle. You got to break through some fascia, or you're not going to do anything.
Yeah. How do you encourage your clients to stay at it? It's so easy for people to, we have the New Year's coming here, right? People, I'm going to have a New Year's resolution. I'm going to start exercising, and they're gung-ho for 2 weeks, and then boom, they peter out. What's the key to keeping them motivated that they got to keep at it?
I think it's about 17 days. 17 days is between 2 and 3 weeks that everybody starts to peter out a little bit. You get 1, then you get 2. But the people that really, I find most of my clients, first of all, they get really addicted to it. Like they too say the same thing I do. Oh my God, if I don't do that for a while, my muscles are all weak. And so what I usually do is I am into transforming bodies. If you're not going to come to my class 3 times a week, I'd rather you not be in class. I'd rather you not take privates from me. I don't want to work with you if you don't want to work with you, because the fact is I'm into transforming your body. And if you're going to do here and there and come once a week and once a year, it's like coming to you twice a year. I'm going to come to you every week or every month or every 2 weeks or whatever it is. And you don't just do a workout, once every 2 weeks and expect to stay in great shape. And the thing is that we're all living so much longer now. And the thing that makes me so sick and sad is that people are so sick, and they don't have to be if they just do a little movement and eat a little better.
Right.
Stick a green leaf in your mouth every once in a while and move the body, even if it's just walking.
Yeah.
We're living a long time, and people are getting sicker and sicker because they're not treating their body like they're going to live longer than what they are.
Yeah, good point. Wow, that's very inspirational. I thank you so much for your time. This has been great. And it's motivating. I think it's going to be motivating to our audience to get their act together and start lifting weights. Look what happens. 2 weeks, you're gone in Italy, and you come back and you're sore, and
I'm seeing my muscles, like I'm not seeing them go away exactly, because I am doing the yoga every day, but I'm not seeing them stay like they were.
The thing is, when you're in your
just from the other day of lifting my weights, I can see how much more defined I am every 2 days of lifting the weights.
Yeah. Well, that's how the body works. Think about when you're in your teens or in your 20s, that can last longer. But when you get up in your 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th decade, you got to be on it more, right?
I'm telling you, when I was younger, I would do, I took Pilates, and I would do 2 days of Pilates, and my knees would be like I was biking forever, because I was a gymnast. So I was 20 pounds heavier, but I was all muscle.
Right.
And so when I would work out, I felt like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I felt like Arnold Schwarzenegger on the runway anyway, because I wasn't as tall as all the girls, and I wasn't as thin. And so I had a bit of a complex of just being this football player out on the runway, but I was the sportive one that people wanted during the 80s, and started to change the modeling form of being 8 pounds to, let's have somebody that has some form in their body.
Yeah.
Natural, more. Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I forgot why I'm even telling you that, because that's just what happens. Something to do with muscles. And
well, just as we age, we got to stay on it more. It's because you lose it, use it or lose it.
And you use it or lose it now, right?
Right.
Before it was like, it's in 2 days, in
Yeah.
2 days, I got a little bit of muscle, but it's not gonna be
Right.
flexible until I do a full week of this.
Yeah.
That's how fast the body will change though, if you just lift a little weight and try something a little different. If you do the same thing over and over again, your body's so used to it, you gotta confuse the muscle.
Yeah.
Really
So
gotta
you like to mix it up, the workouts.
Oh, yeah, I mix it up every time. It's not the same class every time at all.
That's great. That's great. Well, hey, how can our audience get a hold of you? What if they wanted to do like they wanted to learn more about what you have to offer? Do you have a website for them to go to?
Website, it's brendaswanson.com. But it's just as easy if you sent me an email at brendaswanson@brendaswanson.com. Or if you wanted to send me a text at 310-951-0002, you could send me a text too and ask about any information. I can either send you some or call you back and give you some information, whatever you guys need or want. But I'm into taking you to your next level if you guys are ready to do that for yourself and for your body.
Yeah, great. Well, hey, thank you so much for being on the show. You've been with Brenda Swanson, certified sculpt yoga instructor for the past 20 years. And look at her, she's a product of the product. I mean, look at those deltoids there. There's like, boom, So thank you so much for your time. And thanks for inspiring us to exercise more and to keep those bones strong and prevent osteoporosis. I think it's been a very enlightening show. Thank you again for your time.
You're so welcome. Bye. Have a happy Merry Christmas. And
all right. Bye-bye.
Over now.
Thank you for listening to the Taylor Method for Pain-Free Living podcast. For more information about the Taylor Method and how you can find lasting pain relief, visit www.drderektaylor.com. That's www.drderektaylor.com.